What is Farmer Companies?
So in simplest forms, I like to say we have the most basic thesis when it comes out, for a business model. We love iconic brands that we think can very quickly expand into new market verticals. What started with Cabot Cheese, we're in Vermont, Cabot Cheese is local, make the best cheddar in the world, where our thought process was, hey, Cabot is very well known in cheese. We think that it would do very well in other cheese-based products. And we started a partnership with them. We did a licensing agreement, and has very quickly turned into one of the fastest growing popcorn brands in the country. And our model, by the nature of it, is very replicable. You find a great brand that can carry over into an adjacent category. There's a lot of white space there. And so, when we're looking, to expand our portfolio, we do it, with licensing, and now we're starting to buy businesses as well. We made our first acquisition last summer with Wisps, which is the #1 cheese crisp in the United States, which is pretty exciting. And,
Getting
I was
so
like,
hungry.
wait, why do you look shocked?
It's pretty awesome to hear that, right? I mean, how good does it feel as we bought that?
Yeah, we're pumped. It made perfect sense with our portfolio, and now it's kind of turned into this. We got 5 brands, 1 owned, 4 licenses, and there's a lot of other fun stuff that we're working on here, and it's all under one company. We got a very talented team, and we do fun stuff.
Cool. Can you name the brands alphabetically?
Cabot, Guinness, Newman's, Nathan's, Newman's, Wisps.
Nice, right? Yeah. Newman's Nathan's famous.
Right, Nane.
All right, sorry about that. It was just brain teasers.
But like for example, these aren't even out yet. This was our first production run. So I brought them here so you guys could do a live cutting.
These are beautiful.
Live taste test.
Wait, yes.
Wow. All right. So this is a premium beef stick or meat stick you're launching with Nathan's Famous because they weren't doing this themselves, right? So this is how you extend their brand and their product line.
Exactly. So our business. I know you guys are the Vermont Center for Emerging Technologies. I mean, we're probably the least technological company out there. I mean, it's like the opposite of rocket science. Nathan's is the #1 hot dog in the U.S. Like, beef sticks are the fastest growing category in the U.S. Just makes sense, right? And so we're really excited about these. These are actually made here locally at Vermont Smoke & Cure. They've been a great partner. We've been developing these for over a year, where we've been working very closely with the Nathan's teams. We use their same secret spice that goes into the hot dogs. There's a specific secret spice that they use for these. And we have carried it over into a meat stick, and we're launching with 3 unique flavors to the category, but also very synonymous with Nathan's. So we have the original, a deli mustard, and a chili and cheese. Okay. But it's a phenomenal product.
So, and this is July 4th week, right?
Yes.
Are you going to be in Coney Island for their big hot dog contest?
There is going to be a meat stick eating contest. That is a part of it. Yes.
Is this a first?
Shout out to Badlands Booker, who's going to be
champion, right?
He's going to be crushing some meat sticks on the 4th of July.
Can we bet on this? I guess we should get our...
I don't know if it's public knowledge about the meat stick part yet. I think it's kind of
This will come out after.
Yeah, maybe next year they'll have rounds on the meat sticks.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
But we'll be there. Our team will be there. We're handing out a bunch of product. And we're betting internally how many he can eat, for sure.
Whoa.
Over under 100 is kind of...
No.
Well, you got to do the math. If they eat 60,
unwrapping count, or are they already unwrapped?
We don't know how they're going to do it yet. We're like, are they going to have them all unwrapped and like snap them in half and then eat them, or like do you hold like
a number of
do you hold 10 of them at once and just...
Yeah, this is a science project. We probably should get someone from the food systems lab up.
What is the best way to eat meat sticks?
Yeah.
That's But
well, we know like anything in business, you're not going to figure out the first go.
right, yeah.
This
Next
will be
year they'll
iterate.
streamline it a little bit.
So, all right. So back to the company here. You formed it in 2020 or so, right? Like,
Right.
how many people on the team now, and like what's the reach of products?
So we have 14 people. We have, shout out to our team. Really proud of the team we've built. We have very established CPG experts that are leaving their jobs to come join us. And, that says a lot. We have a really laser focused mission, and, I am very proud to say now that I am the least educated person on our company when it comes to CPG or consumer product goods products. But when we knew early on that we had to set our business up to be able to scale wide and fast and very streamlined. We work with the best manufacturers for our products. Just talking on Cabot, all our products are made with Cabot cheese. We actually figured out a really symbiotic way to make this, where we take their trim cheese, which is made, when they make a bar of cheddar, the piece that doesn't form a perfect bar is essentially, trim. Like that's the waste that goes through the manufacturing line. Cabot makes millions and millions of pounds of cheese. They have a lot of trim. And so we worked with them to be able to get the right mix of trim, real age, 12-month trim with blocks, and then find a third-party manufacturer that can take that into a usable powder that we use on our popcorn. So that's not just a novel. We're really making it with Cabot cheese. And then the manufacturing partners that we work with, we need to make sure that they have the capacity to scale, that there's no line time restraints. And then we put all of our product, finished goods, no matter what brand we're going to be working with, with a third-party logistics provider. We use one out of Chicago that automatically, seamlessly connects to every retailer across the country. Orders
you've set
come
up
in.
an outsource
Right.
to trusted partners for that part of the business, manufacturing and fulfillment, distribution.
Right.
Oh, got it.
So you could have product going anywhere in the U.S. and doesn't matter. Might cost a little bit more if the distance is farther, but we knew that was key for us when we started to really scale our business. Was we didn't want any manufacturing or constraints.
Sort of asset light
Right.
approach, and then. But you also brought in a couple of business owners early on as investor board members, right?
Yep.
That knew distribution, or they knew the retailer piece. Like, is that the key to a successful CPG business? Is it
Yeah, absolutely.
in the manufacturing, the product, or is it just distribution and support in the store?
I would say people are everything. I'm like worried about like if I leave anybody out. So I'm I got to make sure I give shout outs to everybody
You're
here.
the most important.
Right. Shout out to Farrell Distributing, Dave Farrell, Doug Broussard. We'll start there.
You forgot Brian.
Brian Cairns, Brian Littlefield.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have a whole slide.
We'll roll
We're gonna put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a special thanks at the end of this podcast to hundreds of people. But yeah, to your point, I mean, Farrell Distributing was another very strategic partner of us that came on, not just as a partner that can help sell our product and get it, essentially everywhere, but they did invest. They liked the idea. They liked the simplicity of it. I remember we had our first meeting with Doug from Farrell, no finished product. We had popcorn in a Ziploc bag in a drawing. And he's like, that'll sell. And so they were excited about it.
Freaking popcorn
Yeah,
on the
it's good.
planet. It is so
So
head and
good.
shoulders above anything else. And yeah, I'm biased. I love Cabot cheese too, but it's great.
We are, we don't cut corners on any of the products that we make. And, when it comes to Cabot Pop, it's an expensive product.
I was just gonna say, how do you balance price
Right,
and
it's-
like
Yeah.
consumer
$5.99 a
appeal?
bag, compared to some other brands, which might be $3.99, and it really truly we're not like it. cost that much to make. It's real cheddar, which first of all is rare in snacking. To actually use real 12-month aged cheddar in a snack, large scale production, product. Most people are trying to get it as cheap as possible, and they'll use like milk fats and things like that resemble cheddar, but they can call it cheese, but it's not real. It's not the real deal. And then we use more of it. So if we're talking Cabot popcorn, 28% of the bag is just pure cheese powder, like the weight of the bag. And so like if it's a 4.5 ounce bag, do the math, what is that?
Versus 4%.
I'd say standard's probably from 12 to 15. Okay. So it's twice as cheesy as every other, brand out there, and better cheese. And it's worked, right? Like people, tried and they're like, this is the best popcorn I've ever had.
When we were considering like, gosh, do we want to invest in this not really tech company? I mean, there's a lot of science in the food and the formulations for sure. I had an annual mountain biking trip up in the kingdom with all my investor pals and business owners. And I bought like $80 worth of popcorn and chips, and I just put them out. Everybody that picked up a bag finished it.
Right.
Or they put it down, then they come back to it. It was insane. And I was like, okay, if you're going to be that into something, a food product, then there's potential. And that's when we started digging in. I was you got to love the product, right? Because what good is one sale of a $5 bag?
Right.
Right. You need people buying this weekly or regularly.
That's probably one of the first questions any of our investors ask is, can you send me samples? Right. You got to believe in what you're investing into. We have 3 new flavors of Cabot popcorn coming out in September is what we're targeting. So. Right.
Is it like fall themed or
no?
Oh my God! Please do not do pumpkin spice.
I was literally just about to say, is there
We've looked at
pumpkin?
We don't allow pumpkin spice in the VSAT building.
We've gotten samples of a pumpkin. Like, have you tried our maple cheddar, where it's like a candy coated maple and cheese?
Great. Yeah,
we like that. We call it the New England collection line because we're pairing iconic New England flavors with cheese, and so we've been thinking like, what other ones could we do? And we tried a pumpkin cheddar and it was delicious, but we're like, that just seems weird on the bag, pumpkin cheddar.
Pumpkin cheddar.
Pumpkin pie.
I know, because you're probably seeing pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice.
Right, pumpkin cheese.
I don't know how Dunkin' Donuts
pumpkin cheesecake. Pumpkin cheesecake.
Pumpkin cheesecake.
That's what we could call it.
Totally different thing. Totally different. Good. Okay. So just in the last couple of weeks, right, you've announced acquiring Wisps and reintroducing that product to the market nationally, or like where does that appear? Like in grocery stores or?
Wisps is so now's actually a really good time for Wisps. If you look at everything that's going on with people focusing on better for you products, I should have brought some Wisps with me. I don't know. I brought 4 meat sticks for my first podcast. What am I thinking here? Rookie. I didn't think it was going to be on camera. I thought it were. If you look at everything that's going out with, better for you, Wisps is arguably the healthiest and cleanest snack product you can have. It's made with one ingredient. That's it.
Literally.
Cheese.
Wow.
Like you look at the ingredient label, Parmesan cheese. And so Wisps does very well in higher end. Think of the Costco's, the Sprouts markets, those outlets. When we purchased it, we knew we had our work cut out for us. We essentially had to relaunch it with a whole new supply chain and use our cheese making, or we don't make cheese, but I guess we're becoming experts in cheese at this point.
Sounds like it.
Right. And shout out to our operations team. We were able to buy Wisps and relaunch it under a completely new supply chain in less than 3 months in a business model that was profitable. We focused on the top SKUs,
and
got it to the market.
Get it out in distribution. How many states are your products in today?
Wisps?
Or network wide?
Probably all of them. I'd say like maybe all of them.
Does that include Canada?
Wisps is in Canada, yes. I don't think we're in Alaska or Hawaii. We're in Puerto Rico through CVS.
Okay, so big footprint.
Yeah, I'd say I mean, different brands are concentrated. Like Cabot's obviously, very concentrated East Coast. But yeah, we got a pretty wide footprint.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm just 3 months is really fast. Like, how did you do that? How did your team do that?
So a little backstory on Wisps specifically. So Wisps was a brand that was the leader in the space for 10 years.
Yeah.
It was started in 2013. It really kind of came out, and grew rapidly when keto diet became, the thing. If you think 2017, 2018, keto was all the craze. And so that caused the brand to really go to the next level. And as keto, the brand transacted, it was owned by a private equity company, trying to make sure I don't bash it. They did a great job. But the diet, the keto diet weaned. Mm-hmm. And, if you think about all these new products that came out in keto, and a lot of them, to be frank, are gross. Like, have you ever tried some of these keto, like chocolates? And
I think I've had like a keto cookie.
Yeah, they're not good.
No,
they're gross.
And it's also not good for you. Like, a lot of the ingredients are bad.
Right. There's engineered protein and things like that.
Keep all those items in my pumpkin spice drawer.
And so Wisp kind of went down. They say that all tides, what is it? The tides
They rise together. They
right. The
lower
tide
together.
lifts all
Yeah.
boats.
Yep.
The tide sinks all boats. And so keto, kind of, faded away. And that was really the time that we acted on this. And so we purchased the brand, and we're focusing now moving forward on talking about the best attributes, which is its single ingredient simplicity. And no other snacks can claim that. That's going to be the message that we're going to be relaying as we essentially rebirth it. We're focusing on premium, high quality ingredients. It needed to taste better than it did before. That was very important for us. And we are confident that it does. That's the feedback that we've gotten from customers, consumers, and our customers, stores. And and the protein. That's the other aspect of it.
Right.
Very high protein item. A bag of 2.12 ounce Parmesan cheese Wisps has, I think, like 24 to 26 grams of protein in a small bag.
Wow.
And it's clean protein.
Yeah.
It's not engineered like, you look at like protein bars and, some other brands that are protein chips, that's kind of fake protein versus us, it's just pure cheese.